No, I'm not a spook like one of those who haunted Edgar Allan Poe. Nor am I one of your Hollywood movie ectoplasms. I'm a man of substance, of flesh and bone, of fiber and liquids. And I might even be said to possess a mind. I'm invisible simply because people refuse to see me. It is sometimes advantageous to be unseen, although it is most often rather wearing on the nerves. You wonder whether you aren't simply a phantom in other people's minds. You ache with the need to convince yourself that you do exist in the real world. Those lines were written by the Negro novelist Ralph Ellison in the late 1940s. And at that time, the Negro was indeed the invisible man of American society, present in body, absent from America's consciousness. Yet the time was coming when Negroes would begin to emerge from the dark prison of their exile, when the sights and sounds of the Negro protest would reverberate in the land. Many moods of protest, from Martin Luther King to Malcolm X, mirrored and often furthered by a rising group of Negro writers and poets. Our program is the story of 10 years of events in the headlines, from the Supreme Court segregation decision of 1954 to the civil rights law of 1964. 10 years, too, of reflection on those events. Together, they make our story. Some of the deeds, the voices, and the moods of a turbulent time. We were on a journey. From the shacks of the South and the ghettos of the North, a feeling arose. Somehow, there had to be a move into the mainstream of America. There would be hard, crowded years ahead. Yet we felt deeply that we were on our way. When did this feeling begin? Who can say for sure? Perhaps it began in the tired body of a Negro woman who had taken one too many trips to the back of the bus. Or did it begin with the explosive Supreme Court decision of 1954?
To separate young people from others of similar age and qualifications solely because of their race generates a feeling of inferiority as to their status in the community that may affect their hearts and minds in a way unlikely ever to be undone. We conclude that in the field of public education, the doctrine of separate but equal has no place. Separate educational facilities are inherently unequal. I've come this far to freedom, and I won't turn back. I'm climbing to the highway from my old dirt track. I'm stretching and I'm growing, and I'll reap what I've been sowing, or my skin's not black.
On December 5th, 1955, many of Montgomery's buses were empty, the result of a Negro boycott that began when Rosa Parks made a momentous decision.
I worked as a seamstress in a department store. On December 1st, 1955, after working all day and was very tired, I got the bus to go home, and after I had taken a seat on the bus, the driver demanded that I give this seat up for a white man. I didn't feel that I was being treated as a human being. I refused to give up this seat. I said no, and I wouldn't give it up.
Whereas a majority of the Negro citizens of Montgomery, Alabama, have refrained from riding city buses since December 5th, 1955, because of mistreatment, be it therefore resolved that we, the Negro citizens of Montgomery, Alabama, do now and will continue to carry on our mass protest. All in favor, let it be known by standing on your feet.
For more than a year, Montgomery's Negroes went to work in taxis, carpools, or on foot. Then, on November 13, 1956, the Supreme Court declared bus segregation unconstitutional. The Jim Crow signs came down. For the first time, Montgomery's Negroes entered buses through the front door. They could sit everywhere, and they could sit alongside of whites.
What's happened to this town? It was peaceful here. We all got along. We didn't have no trouble. They had their ways, we had ours. And everything went along the way God intended. Now they tell us we gotta send our kids to school with niggers. Why, everybody knows that ain't gonna work. Niggers can't learn like white folks.
3 years after the Supreme Court decision in Little Rock, Arkansas, 9 Negro children left their families to attend Central High School. 15-year-old Elizabeth Eckford was one of them.
I caught the bus and I got off a block from the school. I saw a large crowd of people standing across from the soldiers guarding Central. Then someone shouted, "Here she comes. Get ready." The crowd moved in close and they began to follow me, calling me names. Then somebody started yelling, "Lynch her! Lynch her! No nigger bitch is gonna get in our school. Get out of here!" I don't know why the bench seemed like a safe place to me. But I don't think I could have gone another step. Someone hollered, "Drag her over to this tree."
February 1st, 1960, in Greensboro, North Carolina, Negro students launched a movement that electrified the nation, the sit-ins.
What colored folks you've been knowing all your life. You're almost afraid to hire them, almost afraid to talk to them. You don't know what they're thinking.
The South reacted violently, but sit-ins were almost an immediate success. Hundreds of lunch counters, hotels, and theaters were desegregated. And the sit-ins led to the Freedom Rides, an attempt to break the back of segregation in transportation. For the first time, the federal government intervened as the nonviolent protest movement was greeted with savage violence.
They came at me. I prayed very quickly, grabbed me, pulled me over a short railing and onto the pavement. We'll take hitting, we'll take beating. We're willing to accept death, but we're going to keep coming until we can ride from anywhere in the South to any place else in the South without anybody making any comments, just as American citizens.
In Alabama and Mississippi, it took the government and federal marshals to enforce the 1954 Supreme Court decision. Troops were brought in to protect Negroes who tried to get into segregated schools. In 1956, Autherine Lucy was admitted to the University of Alabama, but was later expelled. In 1961, Charlene Hunter and Hamilton Holmes applied for admission to the University of Georgia. And in 1962, James Meredith sought admission to the University of Mississippi.
Is this a kind of a lonely life for you, despite all these people around you? I've been living along the life a long time.
Go home, nigger. Go home, nigger!
Despite threats and violence, Negroes did win entry into all-white universities. But up to 1964, only 1% of Negro students went to integrated schools.
Dreams and nightmares. Nightmares, dreams, oh. Dreaming that the Negroes of the South have taken over. In white pillared mansions, sitting on their wide verandas, wealthy Negroes have white servants, and colored children have white mammies. Dear, dear, darling old white mammies. Sometimes even buried with our family. Hand me my mint julep, mammy. Make haste. A parade. Grand Marshal in his white suit will precede it. And behind will come with band and drum on foot, on foot, on foot. Motorcycle cops, white, out of sight if they can. Solid black can't be right. Marching, 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 noon till night. I never knew that many Negroes were on earth. Did you? I never knew. Parade, a chance to let. Parade, the whole world see. Parade, old black me.
Birmingham, May 1963. 100 years after emancipation, James Baldwin wrote to his nephew,
Dear James, if the word integration means anything, this is what it means. That we, with love, shall force our brothers to see themselves as they are, to cease fleeing from reality and begin to change it. For this is your home, my friend. Do not be driven from it. Great men have done great things here and will again. And we can make America what America must become. It will be hard, James, but you come from sturdy peasant stock. Men who picked cotton in dammed rivers and built railroads, and in the most terrifying odds, achieved an assailable and monumental dignity.
Don't shop for anything on Capitol Street. Let's let the merchants down on Capitol Street feel the economic pinch. Let me say this to you. I had one merchant to call me, and he said, I want you to know that I've talked to my national office today, and they want me to tell you that we don't need nigger business.
June 1st, 1963, Medgar Evers, secretary of the NAACP in Mississippi, was selected by the New York Times as the man in the news and referred to as the quiet integrationist.
Our relatives, our neighbors, not to trade at these stores. Now, finally, ladies and gentlemen, and this is final, we'll be demonstrating here until freedom comes to Negroes here in Jackson, Mississippi.
On June 12, 1963, a sniper's bullet killed Medgar Evers. Medgar Evers once said,
It may sound funny, but I love the South. I don't choose to live anywhere else. There's land here where man can raise cattle, and I'm going to do that someday. There's room here for my children to play and become good citizens, if the white man will only let them.
Dreams and nightmares.
We are confronted primarily with a moral issue. It is as old as the scriptures and is as clear as the American Constitution.
8 days before President Kennedy sent to Congress the most sweeping civil rights legislation in history, he spoke to the nation.
Whether we are going to treat our fellow Americans as we want to be treated. If an American, because his skin is dark, cannot eat lunch in a restaurant open to the public, if he cannot send his children to the best public school available, if he cannot vote for the public officials who represent him, if, in short, he cannot enjoy the full and free life which all of us want, then who among us would be content to have the color of his skin changed and stand in his place? Who among us would then be content with the counsels of patience and delay? 100 years of delay have passed since President Lincoln freed the slaves, yet their heirs, their grandsons, are not fully free. They are not yet freed from the bonds of injustice. They are not yet freed from social and economic oppression. And this nation, for all its hopes and all its boasts, will not be fully free until all its citizens are free.
So even though we face the difficulties of today and tomorrow, I still have a dream. It is a dream deeply rooted in the American dream. I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal.
August 28, 1963, more than 200,000 people, black and white, marched on Washington for jobs and freedom for Negroes. The nation had never seen anything like it.
Where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream today. I have a dream that one day, down in Alabama, with its vicious racists, with its governor having his lips dripping with the words of interposition and nullification. One day right there in Alabama, little black boys and black girls will be able to join hands with little white boys and white girls as sisters and brothers. I have a dream today. With this faith, we will be able to work together, to pray together, to struggle together, to go to jail together, to stand up for freedom together, knowing that we will be free one day. This will be the day we'll be able to sing with new meaning, my country, 'tis of thee. Sweet land of liberty, of thee I sing. Land where my fathers died, land of the pilgrim's pride. From every mountainside, let freedom ring, and if America is to be a great nation, this must become true. When we allow freedom ring, when we let it ring from every village and every hamlet, from every state and every city, we will be able to speed up that day when all of God's children, black men and white men, Jews and Gentiles, Protestants and Catholics, will be able to join hands and sing in the words of the old Negro spiritual, free at last, thank God Almighty, we are free at last.
What happens to a dream deferred?
What happens to a dream deferred? Does it dry up like a raisin in the sun, or fester like a sore, and then run? Does it stink like rotten meat, or crust and sugar over like a syrupy sweet? Maybe it just sags like a heavy load, or does it explode?
Listen to me! Listen to me!
Explosive demonstrations rocked the North as well as the South as Negroes struggled for equal opportunities.
Listen to me!
dreams and nightmares. Nightmares and dreams.
By 1960, civil rights organizations turned their attack upon Southern voting practices. From the North, civil rights workers came down to assist and persuade Negroes who were afraid or indifferent to register.
The only way to better your life, to better the lives of your children, to go down and register and vote. If you're not a registered voter, you're not a first-class citizen. Would you like to go through both of these morning phone places?
No.
All right, thank you very much.
By 1963, Negro groups decided to make voting a major goal. As late as 1961, only about 25% of Negroes in the South could vote. In 1964, it rose to 40%. On August 4th, 1964, 3 civil rights workers, Michael Schwerner, Andrew Goodman, and James Chaney, were found buried near Philadelphia, Mississippi. They had been shot.
When I die, I'm sure I will have a big funeral. Curiosity seekers, coming to see if I am really dead or just trying to make trouble.
This Civil Rights Act is a challenge to all of us to go to work in our communities and our states, in our homes and in our hearts.
July 2nd, 1964, President Lyndon B. Johnson signed the Civil Rights Bill into law.
So tonight I urge every public official, every religious leader, every business and professional man, every working man, every housewife, I urge every American to join in this effort to bring justice and hope to all our people and to bring peace to our land.
If the word integration means anything, this is what it means. That we with love shall force our brothers to see themselves as they are, to cease fleeing from reality and begin to change it.
I accept the Nobel Prize for Peace at a moment when 22 million Negroes of the United States are engaged in a creative battle to end the long night of racial injustice. The day of the sit-in, the lie-in, the crawl-in, the cry-in, and the beg-in is outdated.
Our move is the right move. We gotta go out and get what we want.
It isn't until the what's so-called least of us is free. But I'm free, or for that matter, any of us. Because if, as human beings, we cannot live in our country and be accepted as human beings and free citizens, then something is the matter with something. And it isn't me.
And we letting them know that we ain't turning around. Like that song Jim sang, we mean that. We'll never turn back.
The history of the past decade ends as it began, with a question. Where does a revolution end? The answer is, of course, that there are no convenient dates that mark the beginning or the end of a period. What seems to have started at Montgomery, or with the Supreme Court decision, did not really start there. Nor did it end with the Civil Rights Law of 1964, or Selma, or what may happen tomorrow. Today, America's Negroes are saying the same things they said 10 years ago, or 100 years ago, for that matter. But something new has happened since 1954. For the first time, the rest of America was listening.